So it's happened again. Another black person inside of their home being killed by the police. We know about the situation with Botham Jean just a year ago and Amber Geiger. This situation, and you will see the body cam footage from the Fort Worth Police Department, this one to me is a lot worse. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Call on the police department to be totally transparent, starting immediately, to not hide anything, to not withhold anything from the community of Fort Worth. We're tired of this, and it's going to stop.
But in the first hours after the shooting, neighbors and activists say Fort Worth police is not being transparent, not telling them enough.
If the officer is at fault, then the officer must suffer the consequences.
Consequences a group of pastors told us they see is even worse than the Dallas case of Botham Jean.
This time, the police took it a step further, and she was in her own place and shot and killed her. That is not only unacceptable, that's murder.
Fort Worth police did release a portion of the body camera footage where you see Atatiana Jefferson looking out the window at the officer milliseconds before he fired. And then police released a photo of a gun they found in the house and only mentioned it briefly with no context in their written press release. Didn't mention if she held a gun, didn't mention if the officer thought she had a gun. That angers this community even more.
Don't paint this sister as no villain.
That's right.
If you do that, if you paint this sister as a villain, this city gonna have hell to pay. Don't paint the sister as no villain. They're the ones who murdered. They murdered her, and there's no excuse for it.
But they're trained to get things, they're trained to get things done, not to go out and murder people. I'm not saying they murdered them, but it looked to me like they murdered them when I looked at evidence around here.
There are calls already for a federal investigation, for the Texas governor to come to Fort Worth, for the officer to be fired and prosecuted immediately, and for the Fort Worth Police Department to start providing more answers.
And we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we're going to keep on talking about this until justice happens. We're crying out to the Lord. Our only recourse at this point is for God Almighty to hear our cry and come see about us.
This particular case is very, very despicable. 3 seconds, 3 whole seconds, and you killed Atatiana Jefferson. 2:30 in the morning, you go into her home. That can happen to any of us. If you see some flashlights flashing in your home, you thinking, man, somebody's trying to rob me. So she went and got her tool to defend herself. So why wouldn't she have it? You saying that she had a gun? Why is it every time a black person have a gun, it's a problem? When you say we have a Second Amendment in the United States, Texas is one of the most gun-toting states in the country. Texas have put in new laws where you can go into a church with a gun. You can be in the parking lot of a school with a gun. You can go into businesses with guns. And now the law is if the manager or the owner asks you to leave and you immediately leave, they won't prosecute you for anything. This state has so many lax gun laws where you can walk around with a sword and no one will say anything about it. You won't be arrested. But a black woman having a gun in her home to protect herself with the same castle law that they were trying to get with the Amber Geiger case put in, which says that if someone crossed the plane of your home like in the middle of the night, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you have a right to defend yourself and not be criminally prosecuted. So our sister couldn't defend herself with a cop that never announced he was a cop, didn't say anything other than, let me see your hands. At least this cop was maybe a little bit more restrained than a cop with Tamir Rice. You say, what do you mean, Phil? Well, the cop with Tamir Rice, he killed Tamir Rice in 2 seconds. This one killed this woman in 3. I mean, it's that serious. And when they killed this woman, this white male cop, let me go through a list of things. He didn't ask in that 3 seconds, were you light skinned or dark skinned? He didn't ask, was she Christian? Was she Muslim? Was she atheist? He didn't ask if she was married or a single mother. He didn't ask if she was a Black American, an African immigrant, a Caribbean immigrant. He didn't ask any of those questions at that time period. He didn't ask how much money she has or don't. He didn't ask if she had a college education or not. He didn't ask any of that. All he saw was a Black woman and I'm a killer. That should be the message that we all should understand in this country, is that no matter where you come from, who you are, your economic status, your education status, all it matters is that when they come at you as a Black man or woman or child, all they see is your Black skin. Your skin is the threat. Understand that. Our skin. Now, this is not a way to live, Black folks. This is not normal. It was more upsetting is that you can clearly see the difference with you versus other groups of people. Understand that. You go to school and it's a school to prison pipeline for Black children in the same public schools that every other group is going in. You understand? They suspend our children more than any other group of children. These race soldiers kill us for any old thing and nobody in the country care about it. The only time they care about it is when Black folks take to the streets or when Black folks start boycotting their Christmas and their Thanksgiving. And when Black folks start doing different things like pulling their money out of banks. When Black folks start saying, you know what, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this no more because we're not getting on code enough. And I'm not going to sit up here and wait for my family or myself to be slaughtered in America. Because when people say that terminology to people, oh, well, yeah, you want to just take up and run. Why aren't you doing anything to make a person not even consider that? That's what you tell that person when they say that to you, okay? Because they love to tell you that. Or we ain't running. You ain't doing nothing. So why would a person even think to do that? Leave a country where they were born to go somewhere else because you're not doing anything about it but saying, oh, it's messed up. Oh, they racist. Oh, but you don't do nothing about it. That's why people can think, man, I have a better chance somewhere else. Other immigrants do it. See, immigrants coming to this country, they don't have the issues and problems. That's why they keep coming here. If they came to this country and got the same treatment we got, they wouldn't be want to come here. They said, man, it better stay in my country, where I come from. Everybody in the whole world see what go on with us, especially with the creation of the internet. I remember last year when I was in Ethiopia and they was asking me questions about how can we live like that? How can we live with the police always beating on us and shooting us for no reason? They say, well, why don't you brothers and sisters come over here with us? Like, you're not going to have that problem over here. They said nothing perfect, but you're just not going to have that kind of problem. And yes, every country, Ethiopia included, have their own problems. But man, come on. It's an upgrade for Black folks just to be able to walk down the street and not be harassed. It's an upgrade for Black folks not to worry about getting shot at 2:30 in the morning. When you have a flashlight coming inside your home at a time period it shouldn't be. And to the brother that called the police, because the brother that called for a wellness check, he saw the door open. See, we are violating the old rule that the Black people had. And I don't know why y'all threw away the rules. There were rules put into the Black community to protect the Black community. Understand? And I'm glad I was around my grandparents and great-grandparents enough to hear the rules. Number one rule, don't call no police in our business. That was a number one rule. And this was an example of violating that rule. Because if he would have took himself over there to go see what was going on or try to find out what's going on, he and that sister would be alive today. Now, I'm not blaming him because he didn't go shoot her. I'm not blaming him. But what I'm saying is this is the result of calling them into our community and our business. You notice these other groups don't call them into their business? They don't be all in Chinatown in their business. They don't be all in the Hispanic community's business. Everybody operates that way in non-white groups. They don't involve them in their business. They handle it how they see fit. See, white folks and the police, they hand in hand. That's part of the system for them. So yeah, they're going to call them. That's their backup. But we don't have that. And some black folks think you can call them like they are backup. Even other black folks, a lot of times, not all, but even other black folks as cops act just like some of them, and probably worse at times, to prove their worth. That they can be just as corrupt as the rest of them, to their own. This is not a way to live. I'm going to keep saying this. This is not a way to live. We have normalized oppression. We have normalized unfair treatment. We have normalized racism. And much as I agree, 2,000%, that the American government owes black Americans for the blood, sweat, and tears and the free labor of what we built in this country. They owe that. You can get a reparations check tomorrow. It's not going to fundamentally change America, because you can't change hate with $1. You can't. You cannot change the affairs of the heart with a check. You can't. You have to put strong laws on the books and get all of people who's running it out and replace them with a new system. And this system they do not want to replace. This system was built off of anti-black hatred, and you can clearly see it. The only time other people care about racism, white supremacy until it happens to them. Then all of a sudden they want to come over here to with black people and say, oh man, I didn't realize it was this bad. Like, man, come on, man. You be sitting up here watching us getting dogged out. And now all of a sudden, since it touched you, you want to come over here now? That's why a lot of black folks are like, man, I didn't want to hear that from you. You know what I'm saying? Because you was truly cared. You would have put yourself out there and ended it. That way it wouldn't touch nobody at the end of the day. But this is not right that you can't go check who's at your house. So I guess black folks got to get a bunch of cameras at their house that you can speak outside your house and ask them, hey, what's going on? Or why are you here? You get what I'm saying? So you don't get shot. I mean, why black people have to fix their whole life, but yet look and watch other people get to live theirs? This is why I say the term Captain Black America, and you want to hunker down being Captain Black America. That's what you defending? The right to get shot in 3 seconds? The oppression that we get it more than any other group. Y'all doing the reparations conversation, in which I supported 100% when I say this. You talk about how this racial wealth gap and everything else. I mean, that's clearly telling you how they feel. They can close the wealth gap like this if they want to, but they don't. They can cut a $17.1 trillion reparations check to black folk. They can do that if they wanted to, because they print the money. They just don't want to, because they don't want you to have nothing. They don't want us to have anything. They don't want us to have 10 cents more than them, even though it's owed. Because if they cut it, the checks, then you're going to have them inflamed that you got something more than they have. But once again, you cannot change anything with money. Not this group. Not anything with racism, white supremacy. Money ain't going to fix it. Money will not fix it. Because we spend money every year in this country, and it has not changed fundamentally for black people. We still had Tamir Rice. We still had Sandra Bland. We still having all of that. It was early sick. And then some of you want to tell black people when they want to go see, man, let me go check out what Africa got going on. I'm going to go see. And you want to get at them and say, oh, well, what you want to go over there for? The white people and the Chinese people. Man, you ain't been over there. So you don't know what you're talking about. You only talking about what you read on the internet. They'd rather you come over there and work with them. My thing is this, brothers. This is the result of saying, can I hug her, please? That's the result of that. When you show acts of weakness before the world, people going to continue to do you things. Now, when it comes to this family, I don't know them. Never met them. But if this family come up here talking about forgiveness, if this family come up here talking about love, if this family come up here talking about anything outside of what happened to their family member, they want justice, they need, this is racist, this is police, extrajudicial killings. If they come on any of that old love and forgiveness mess, I'm not saying a word about this no more. Because we in the black community got to take a standard when it comes to things like this. If you want to forgive them, do it at your house all day. When it comes to publicly, you don't do it. We have to not give our support to no family that's going to come up here and make us look bad. That situation that happened in that courtroom with the Brant John, that can't ever happen again. We can't be supportive of that. We can't. Now, how these pastors are talking, I'm with them on that. I'm with them 100%. That's the kind of pastors that you want right there. Not the ones that jackleg preaching and taking money and fooling with women. These mega church people. What mega church people you see on the front lines? You don't. But it takes away time from them. Well, you got these brothers who don't even have that out on the front line speaking up and demanding answers. And rightfully so. But this isn't a way to live, folks. We have to look at this. We have to get together. We have to put aside our differences. All those differences I named. Put them aside. Because in that 3 seconds, he didn't ask about none of those differences y'all talk about. No tribalism, none of that. This is utterly sad. This is so, so sad. When you up there killing the women, the children, the black community got to wake up. You have to wake up. The whole world's watching. Wake up. You're asleep, or you see what's going on, and you think you can hide in that corner or go along and get along, it's going to go away. No, it's not going to go away. Going along to get along ain't not working. It's never worked. The only time that we made some headway is when we took a stand as a people. Just because you can buy a little bit more things these days, just because they told you can have integrated schools, integrated jobs, integrated everything. You can date whoever you want to date now. You think you done made it. And you still getting killed the exact same ways as prior to before. At least before, you had to be on codes on some things. And you understood your position with Jim Crow. But after desegregation, that's one of the worst things that happened to us, because we have literally thrown away the fight. And the few of us that's out there who's speaking up and trying to fix the issue with the black community, it can make you give up at times. Because, man, you literally see black people can fix our issues like this. Not only here in America, but globally we can fix it. Globally. And we fall for the same tricks globally all the time. And that's why it's so frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. That's what makes people give up. That's what makes people say, man, I'm done. That's what makes people do it. Because some people may be like, if y'all not caring about black people like that, then why am I going to spend my life trying? Why am I going to put myself on the line? Why am I going to make myself old and gray, ruin my health, and maybe couldn't be here for my children, for y'all, and then y'all not even participating? That's how some people get to that point. Trust me. That's how some people get. Could you blame them? It's time out for that. Everybody needs to step up. Everybody. It can't be one guy, one lady, and you fall back. You want to make a comment online and you fall back. No, you need to step up in your community, in your local area. If everybody step up where they live, that's how you make change. And there's no leaders. Nobody's a leader. I'm definitely not nobody's leader. I don't think I lead is myself and my personal family. I don't lead no one else. Anywhere else, I'm your brother. I'm coming to work with you. I may be a steward over my little lot, but I'm not your leader. And not trying to be. I believe in the idea. The idea is stronger than a leader. Because see, that leader mentality, you get ego with leader. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I don't want nothing to do with the term leader. Because, well, I'm the one said it. I'm the one that created it. I'm the one that caused the conversation. You know, when you start hearing people start talking about I'm the one, listen, everyone know you did it. But when you keep hearing that over and over from certain people, so I did this, I did that, or whatever, you get started getting the ego. And ego takes you down a bad path. That's why I don't want nothing to do with ego or people that have ego, because I know ego is the next step of your personal corruption. And it's not going to do good for us as a community with egos. It does not. It is a difference between charisma and ego. Two totally different things. But brothers and sisters, we got to get serious. We got to get serious. These people operate 24/7. See, you guys get a win and you get excited. Yeah, we won. You partying while they pissed off as hell that they got a loss. They're pissed off. And while you partying that you won, they strategize in the next move. That's how it is. It's a 24/7 operation. Evil don't sleep, unfortunately. So that means you can't. Somebody got to be on watch at all times. It's not right our sister got gunned down this way. And then for them to basically trying to criminalize the sister by saying she had a gun in Texas, of all places. Texas, she had a gun. What's next? They're going to go in her place and say she had 50 pounds of weed. She had $10,000 in her house. She was this big time drug dealer. Oh, back in 95, she had some traffic tickets. Oh, she wrote a hot check in 2001. You know, that sort of thing. And the media needs to be called out when they do that too. Just like with the Joshua Brown situation. Y'all making him out to be some D-boy. Now, y'all knew all that about his record prior to him testifying. But after he gets killed, and it was the most stupid story I ever heard in my life with that. So stupid. They think we dumb. Well, now all of a sudden Joshua Brown, he's the next, Pablo Escobar, the way they talking on the news. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the situation with our sister Atatiana Jefferson. But the thing is, we got to get our act together. We got to get our act together. We can't keep seeing women in our community being killed this way. This is wrong. This is like almost similar to Corn Gaines all over again. Maybe just a little different, but it's still, killing a black woman. That's the last one I remember that they killed like that. And that was even hard to see because they killed Corin right in front of her son.